shall protect our hearts from all opposed. But if the price is that for all we hold dear, then let us die without a shred of fear.
Good evening, great Biafrans and lovers of freedom. Good evening, wonderful people. My name is Nwada Ndidamaka. I welcome everybody to this August occasion, an urgent emergency broadcast of the Republic of Biafra government in exile. Tonight, like the Igbo said, that Igbo adage says that Anubajo Sabaya Jwebe. There is a reason why we are broadcasting at this time. The President of the Republic of Biafra government in exile, Honorable Tony Nwisi, has a message for Biafrans and lovers of freedom. So with me today in the studio is the President himself, Honorable Tony Nwisi, and Mazi Mbakwe, the patron of Umada and the chairperson for Elder Council in the Republic of Biafra government in exile, and my humble self. We are here tonight as it pleases Mr. President to let Biafrans know where the government stands in this forthcoming presidential election in Nigeria. We are transmitting from all our platform handles. Follow us, share. Umada Biafra Worldwide, Biafra Republic Government in Exile, Twitter, YouTube, Biafra Global Network. We are located on 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. Follow us, subscribe, and share. So I have the pleasure to introduce the President of the Republic of Biafra Government in Exile, a man that his consistency is the reason why we still follow him. A man that believes in transparency, accountability, and no conflict of interest. A man that believes that when you look one way, you re-strategize. He gives every thought to every action, and he takes a very thoughtful decision. Follow me and welcome Mazi Tony Nwisi, Honorable President, Republic of Biafra Government in exile. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My message is to Biafrans around the world. I have prepared remarks, and at the end of this, I'll be happy to take questions from our people and from the panel. So, fellow Biafrans, in the light of the ongoing elections in Nigeria, we have received several phone calls and messages seeking the position of the government. And so here it is in black and white. Of a 10-point position of the Republic of Biafra government in exile, 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Can't hear you.
Washington, D.C. Can you hear me now?
No, yes, better. Up a little bit.
Okay, Ndidamaka, can you hear me?
Yes. Mazimbakwe, he's in the don't interrupt him, he's clear enough. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, the
I hear you loud and clear. May I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. So in the light of the ongoing elections in Nigeria, we have received several phone calls and messages seeking the position of the government. And so here it is in black and white. A copy of this report is going to be posted on our platform, on our websites, and all our social media handles. So you can also read a PDF copy will be posted by tomorrow. We have a 10-point position concerning the Republic of Biafra government in exile, 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. Number one, we believe Nigeria is a collection of nation states forcefully merged against our will. We believe each nation has the right to determine their presence in Nigeria or not. Each of the different nations must make that choice. Number two, we believe in the sovereign state of Biafra and will never give it up. We will never give up the pursuit of the sovereign state of Biafra. Number three, we believe Nigeria Constitution is a fraudulent document and has no legitimacy. We were never consulted on it. Nigerians were never consulted on it. Any referendum or plebiscite. It's a fraudulent document. Therefore, we will continue to work towards dismantling it. Number four, having said that, Biafra is a long-term project, 1967 to date. It will take time, and we will continue to work towards it. Number five, in the interim, we must participate in the governance of our region and politics as a whole. This is a pragmatic approach as opposed to a dogmatic one. Participating in politics allows us to make progress and advance the cause of Biafrans instead of just complaining. Case in point, Scotland. They have been seeking a referendum to leave the United Kingdom for over 30 years, yet it continues to participate in the politics of the United Kingdom. The same applies to Wales. Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland have been fighting for a merger for many years, yet they continue to participate in politics while in pursuit of their dream. Ukraine and Georgia finally got their independence from USSR, Soviet Union, after many years, but continued in politics of the Soviet Union until they achieved it. Even the United States of America was engaged in politics through the 13 colonies and their representatives. They were engaged in politics while being colonized by the United Kingdom until the war, which led to their independence in 1776. Self-determination is a long-term project. Therefore, it is manifestly irresponsible for the Republic of Biafra government in exile not to participate in Nigerian politics because we seek an ideal, which is Biafra. We must participate in politics while pursuing Biafra and dismantling the 1999 Constitution. Number six, we do not support compulsory sit-at-home or threats of violence against Biafrans for any reason whatsoever. Indeed, we condemn any threat of violence against Biafrans by anyone, including fellow Biafrans. We consider such acts as the exact definition of terrorism. Threatening our people is unacceptable. We will never accept it. It is the same thing as terrorism. Number seven, we place on record that anyone who threatens, funds, or supports violence against Biafrans will be brought to justice, just as those who killed the Jews under Hitler were hunted down one by one and brought to book. Biafrans have the inalienable right to participate or not in the elections of Nigeria, and it must not be taken from them. We will not allow it. It's our inalienable right. Number eight, we will continue to partner with other indigenous groups seeking self-determination, such as Yoruba, Arewa, Midwest, etc. Number nine, we ask all Biafrans to support the candidacy of Peter Obi and to vigorously campaign for his election. The Republic of Biafra government in exile hereby gives a 100% endorsement to the candidacy of Peter Obi as president of Nigeria. Thank you very much. And now I'm happy to take any questions you might have. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Very eloquently stated. The stand of the government is very clear. And we are ready to take some questions, ask you some questions. Mazimbakwe, please. What question do you have for Mr. President? From all he has stated that is the stand of Republic of Biafra government in exile. What question do you have for him, sir? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Damaka, and my fellow Biafrans. Good evening from here. Mr. President, you had stated that the position of Republic of Biafra government in exile is going to be pragmatic rather than dogmatic. And going along that line, my question is, back in Biafra land, we are divided. Some are for Peter Obi, others are split into bits and pieces between Tinubu and Atiku. These are our fellow brothers. So my question is, what do you have to tell them, these people that have decided to vote against their fellow brother, Peter Obi? Because Peter Obi is our own, and he has been accepted across the country, in the north, in the west, southeast, and of course, in our south region. It's rather, it's a difficult thing to understand why we have become our problem to ourselves. So what do you have to tell our brothers who have decided to engage in no election in Biafra land, as opposed to coming out in mass to vote the nationally accepted candidate, Peter Obi, because he's making waves out there? I mean,
so you asked
it's better to...
Let me take the questions one at a time.
Okay.
So the first question is for those who are voting for Tinubu and Atiku, and the second one is for those who are talking about sit at home. So for those who are looking to vote for Tinubu and Atiku, as far as I am concerned, any Igbo man, any Biafran who's voting for Tinubu or Atiku is a traitor. Any Igbo man who's voting for Tinubu or Atiku is a traitor. I can't find a nicer word with which to describe it. Because on what basis would you vote for Atiku? Another Fulani man? After Fulani has been killing our people? After all they have done? On what basis would you vote for Tinubu? What has Tinubu done for our people? Tinubu was there when Buhari used Nigerian army to attack Nnamdi Kanu in his home. When a man commits a crime, what you're supposed to do is to arrest the man, bring him before a judge of his peers. What did Tinubu do what did Tinubu do for Nnamdi Kanu or Ndibo when Buhari used Nigerian army to assault Nnamdi Kanu and his family in his home? He did nothing for us. What has Tinubu done to help develop Igbo? Nothing. Okay? Neither has Atiku done anything. So any Igbo man voting for Tinubu or Atiku is a traitor. He's definitely confused. And in the fullness of time, we're going to flush all the traitors in Alibo out. All of them will be flushed, from politicians to citizens, they will be flushed out. You see, most people forget what happened with the Jews. The Germans who partnered with Hitler to send the Jews to the concentration camp and to the gas chamber. People forget, after Israel got their independence, they went after each and every one of those men. All of those men who colluded with Hitler to put Jews in the gas chamber, the Mossad and the Israeli government went after each of those men, found them in hiding all over the world, even the ones that changed their names and all of that. They tracked them down and they arrested them. They brought them, they faced justice in Israel, and they're all in jail now. The same thing will happen to all the traitors in Igbo land. People say 99 days for a thief, 1 day for the owner. Biafra will come. Biafra will come. And when Biafra comes, we will take the measure of these men, of these traitors. So that's the first thing I will say. The second thing I will say, the issue of sit at home is a nonsense. It's a nonsense. It's an idiotic idea. It is an idea formed out of a depraved mind. It is an idea formed out of ignorance. Okay? We're in Nigeria. We are Biafrans, but we're currently in Nigeria. We're not the only one going through self-determination. We're not the only one that have gone through self-determination. Yugoslavia was previously one country. Today, it is split into 6 countries: the Czech Republic and Slovakia and Slovenia. 6 countries came out of it. They were chasing self-determination. Scotland is chasing self-determination within the United Kingdom. They are still there. They participate in election. Wales is in the United Kingdom. They participate in elections. They all want their freedom from UK. United States that we have today, the mighty United States of America, they had elections when they were colonized by Britain. Initially 13 colonies that eventually became the 50 states of the United States of America. The 13 colonies, they participate in elections. They send representatives to Philadelphia. So what are you talking about? Ukraine and Georgia were formerly in Soviet Union. They wanted self-determination. Eventually they got it. But in the process, they still participated in elections. It's a process. We're talking about national matters, things that concern 70 million people, and then 200 million people. 70 million of Biafra and 200 million Nigeria as a whole. It's not a one-day thing. And so Biafra is a 50-year project so far. We will get it. It's just a matter of time. But the idea of sit at home is nonsense. It's arrant nonsense. It's gross stupidity. The Yorubas are not doing sit at home. The Yorubas want Yoruba nation. They're not killing their own people and forcing them to sit at home.
But Mr. President,
they want their own nation, but they're not killing their people. They're not forcing to sit at home. So the idea of sit at home is a nonsense. It's a half-baked idea from an ignorant and a depraved mind that doesn't understand the way the world is. Okay? So that's what I have to say.
Okay, Mr. President, there is a school of thought that if we can enforce sit at home during this election, that will cause those that have held Nnamdi Kanu in bondage to release it. And also that will also enhance our quest for referendum. What do you have to say about that? Well,
it's as stupid as the idea itself. It's a non-entity. It's complete stupidity. How does sit at home provoke the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? It does not. The people who are holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are in Abuja. How does punishing your people, damaging the economy of your people, how does it put pressure on Buhari and his agents to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is our brother. We want him released yesterday. But this is a case of 2 + 2 = 10. I love mathematics because it's an exact science. Your 2 + 2 must make 4. There is no correlation between damaging your own economy, killing your own people, destroying your own people, hurting your own mother, your own father, your own brothers, your own sisters. There's no correlation. In the wildest of imaginations, there's no correlation, sir, between damaging your own people, hurting your own people, destroying your own economy, and the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. If you want to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you should if you want to force the hand of the government, you force the hand of those who are holding him. Buhari is from Daura. You go to Daura and cause mayhem in Daura. That's what you do. And I like what our sister said, Nnamdi Kanu's sister, the broadcast she made recently. He said, if you're a man and you think and you want to force the release of Mazi, you go to Abuja and go and cause mayhem in Abuja, which is the capital. You go to Daura, where Buhari lives, and go and cause trouble there. That will put pressure on him. Coming to damage your own economy, there's no relationship between that. It's a case of illiteracy. Okay? Now, if you're thinking Igbo politicians are the ones that sold out to Nnamdi Kanu, yes, I will accept that Igbo politicians have a hand in the selling of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So your efforts should be directed at Igbo politicians, not in the Igbo. That's just clear thinking. Go after the politicians. The politicians are the rogues in our society today. Yes. Igbo politicians are the rogues. They are the traitors. They are the agents of Fulani in our land. Igbo politicians are the scum of the earth. Go after Igbo politicians. They are the ones that colluded with Buhari to kidnap our brother. Not your brothers and sisters, not your mothers, not our mothers and fathers. It doesn't make any sense. Igbo politicians, you know where they live. Go to their house and go and talk to them. You know where their office is. Go to their office and go and talk to them. You can take them to court. You can take them to court in America or UK or all over the world. So go after Igbo politicians, not after your own people. There is no correlation between the two. It's a nonsense idea. It's a stupid idea. Completely ignorant idea. No intelligent person should be following such a man or woman or group of people who are saying, oh, damage your own economy, destroy your own people, cause mayhem in your own people, kill your own people, murder your own people. How foolish can you get? How does that accelerate Biafra? It does not. It cannot. It will not. It's nonsensical. If anything, you're going to cause the death of more Biafrans because you go and start doing this nonsense. Buhari government doesn't care. Buhari doesn't care. He's a Fulani man. He hates Igbo. He wants to destroy our Igbo. They want to steal our land and steal our resources. He will send the army and the navy and they'll come, they start killing our people indiscriminately in the name of trying to quash the misguided fellow and his group who are trying to stop election. It's a nonsense idea. It's foolish. That's what I have to say about it. I'm sorry that
and Mr. President, Ndidamaka, can I throw in one more question for consideration?
Okay.
Do you think this sit at home is going to add more pain to the already suffering that people are going through with this Naira, new money, old money saga? Or does that help? Or how does that help?
I mean,
at such a time as this, but people at home.
Precisely. I mean, Buhari government, APC is the party of death. I call APC the party of death. Lots of Nigerians have died. Today, a professor, a university, I think a principal, collapsed while waiting in the queue for his own money. Our mothers are made to be climbing the wall to enter banks to go and get 2,000. Right? I mean, several lives have been damaged and hurt. Forget the economy. You know, our fathers are stripping themselves, mothers are stripping themselves. This APC government has caused so much pain to our people, to Nigeria as a whole, more so in the Igbo. So why would you now, in the midst of their pain, in the midst of their suffering, go and add your so-called convoluted idea of sit at home, your so-called ignorant and foolish idea of sit at home? Why would you do that? It's as stupid can be. If you don't have anything better to do, just go and sleep. And if you don't have any ideas on what to do, go and read, go and study. Go and study self-determination. Other people that got their self-determination. Go and study how United States got their own freedom. You go and see what Scotland is doing and Wales is doing. Go back to school, get an education. Educate your mind. Don't come and talk to Biafrans with an ignorant mind, an empty head, with a complete numbskull, and deceive young people into early death. It's nonsense. It's crazy. And the most annoying part of it is I have seen men and women who are supposed to have had an education following and parroting the ideas of this fellow, parroting his ideas and giving him thumbs up and promoting it. Stop and think. Stop and engage your mind. There is no correlation. There's no correlation between sit at home and Biafra. If anything, what you're doing is giving comfort to the enemy. You're aiding and abetting our enemy, the Fulani people, and their foreign sponsors. You're aiding and abetting them to hurt our people, damage our economy, hurt our people, kill our mothers, kill our fathers. There will be no hiding place for such a people. There will be no hiding place for such a people. Just as the men and women who colluded with Hitler to kill the Jews, they all pay the price. There will be a day of reckoning for everybody who is promoting sit at home, which is leading to the death of our people. It is the exact definition of terrorism. The sit at home, they're not appealing to our people. If you appeal to the Igbo, say, oh, they can know, if we stay at home, it will do this, it will do that. Okay? If you appeal to the good angels of our nature, that's a different conversation. Appeal to our people. Talk to them. It is their life. They have a right to vote or not to vote. When you threaten them, you are committing terrorism. The very threat itself is a crime. Now, when you now send young men out there to harass them, to threaten them, to make their life more difficult, you are committing a major crime, a crime of terrorism. That is the exact definition of terrorism. And I warn you and the rest of you, wherever you are in the world, anyone who is promoting this idea, promoting it, sponsoring it, supporting it, backing them up, there will be a day of reckoning. There will be a day of reckoning. There will be a day of the blood that you spilled will speak, and it will speak revenge. There will be a day of reckoning. Go write it down. My name is Tony Nwisi. Today is February 22nd. There will be a day of reckoning. Every single one of them will be arrested. They will be brought to court. They will be prosecuted, and they will go to jail. Because you cannot deprive people of their rights because you think it will help bring Biafra. No, it is their right. Just as you have a right to speak, they have a right to speak. You have a right to go out, they have a right to go out. You have a right to vote, they have a right to vote. Just as you choose not to vote, they'll also have a right not to vote. You cannot take another man's right from them. You cannot take another man's life from him. You did not give the man life. It is God that gave him life. So you have no right to take another man's life. No matter what you think you're pursuing, whether it's Biafra or not, it is nonsense. Complete nonsense.
Thank you, Mr. President. Over to you, Ndidamaka. I may have other questions for him.
Sure, Mr. President, thank you we can read the passion. And that is what leadership is all about. When times like this, leaders rise up to speak, and the world is listening. I have a question for you, sir.
Thank you.
These people clamoring for Biafra, like we are saying that Biafra is our religion, Biafra is our goal, Biafra is what we are looking for. But we are still in Nigeria, and if we say we're not going to be part of it, idiots will be taking decisions and be imposing it on us. Government must go on. And that is why it is important to vote in people who will represent us and who will speak with integrity and act with, an element of decency in government. But some of the contemporaries that are clamoring for no election are borrowing the example of Ambazonia. Sir, what is unique about Ambazonia and Biafra? Are they in the same category as to, tow the same method the Ambazonians are towing? Because right now they're fighting. Do we have, because it's like somebody see Lamishi Lara Paul, Shepi she got the quacker, Shepi she Paul, that kind of stuff. So are we gonna tell the Ambazonians method? Do we have the same pattern? Do we have the same collaboration with our political class? Because I just want you to tell me what I'm missing here, sir. Thank you.
I mean, the case of Ambazonia is totally different from ours in the sense that the Ambazonian politicians walked out of their parliament on one day. Okay, so there's a collaboration between the citizens and the politicians. We don't have that here. I mean, the Ambazonian idea, it's an idea that I welcome. And, if we can get our politicians to resign from National Assembly and not to accept election, no election is a good idea. But you cannot force it on people. You have to appeal to people. You see, every idea must stand on its own merit. And if your idea is good, you don't have to force it on anybody. If people like your idea, you never have to force it. You can be in a corner of the earth, in the most remote part of the earth, and tell the people, and they will buy it. Okay, if it's a good idea. So the reason why you're trying to force it is because it's a terrible idea. The people are not buying it. And President Reagan said years ago, he said, you can do a lot with public support. He said, but without public support, you can do nothing. If you have the support of the masses, of Biafrans, you can do a lot. It is when you don't have the support of the people, that is when you begin to use threat and knife and guns and force. And that in itself indicts you. Yes, we have the Ambazonian model is a good model, but we're not there yet. They work to get to that point. So what I'm saying is that let us continue to work. Let's participate in politics. Let's participate in governance. Let's, and then hold our politicians accountable and force them and begin to compel them, not force them, begin to compel them to do the right thing. And that only comes through the power of your argument. The moment you begin to carry a gun and start threatening people, you have become a terrorist. Unless in the point of self-defense. When someone attacks you, and you have a right to defend yourself and protect your life. But telling people to sit at home under the threat of guns is the exact definition of terrorism. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to win you any brownie points at all. And you're giving people false hope. You're peddling fantasy. You're peddling fantasy. It will not go anywhere.
Yes, thank you. I really like what you said about the Amazonian political class. They collaborated with the people and walked out of the parliament, and they started fighting their cause all in one accord. We don't have that. We are not there yet. And that is why I also agree with what you said, that people who are somewhere in their living rooms raising false hopes to the gullible must know that there is always a payback time. Another question I have for you, sir, is this. Mr. Peter Obi seems to be among three, like Jesus Christ and the two thieves. I think he's a better candidate compared to, the other two thieves in between Jesus Christ. And now, like following the political trend, it looks like the whole youth, known and unknown, are rising up to know that the power belongs to the people. I was listening to somebody in Abuja, one of the videos I came across, and the person said, they are giving Peter Obi the mandate, and if he goes there and he does not perform, the same way they gave him the mandate is the way they're going to go take it away from him. That the youth of caliber have risen up, and they must take their nation from them. So that tells me that by the time we start electing people, into positions of authority and the electoral positions, they can start amending things, and people will now know their right. One thing the people clamoring for no election do not understand in Biafra land, that we have been conquered institutionally, we have been conquered economically, we have been conquered in everything. So if Peter Obi can come and start rebuilding economic conquest we already have, or start building other things, structural things we have already been conquered, is a plus to our advancement to our goal, which is Biafra. So my question to you, sir, I saw a video where Mazin Nnamdi Kanu stated the importance of democracy and the need for us not to mouth the importance of democracy, or not to stall democracy. We will be termed anti-democracy, and the world will now use it against us. These people clamoring to be working for Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, and they are trying to, mouth democracy. What do you think is behind this, sir? Is they going to endanger Nnamdi Kanu? Are they really working for Biafrans, or they working for Nnamdi Kanu? Because I could remember Nnamdi Kanu, even in a call, somebody called, and he made it categorically clear that we cannot mouth democracy. The whole world is clamoring for democracy, and we will not stop democracy. And democracy is election of the people, by the people, for the people, if I'm getting it right. So these people now calling themselves standing for Nnamdi Kanu, and they want to stop democracy. Do you think they are trying to paint Biafrans badly, negatively, or what do you think this implication will be to Nnamdi? However, Nnamdi made his stand on this issue categorically clear. He is for democracy. So what do you think, sir?
Nnamdi Kanu's position is quite clear. I mean, I think everybody has seen the video where he's talked about elections and the fact that you must follow democratic, means. I mean, even without Nnamdi Kanu saying it, it goes to reason. It's common sense. What kind of society are you trying to build? You're trying to promote anarchy, right? Or you're trying to promote order. So you don't have to wait for Nnamdi Kanu to tell you that you should follow democratic process. That is the way civilized nations work. I mean, I don't know where in the world where even the ones that have what they call managed democracy, like Russia and China, where they have managed democracy, one-party state in China, it's still called democracy. It's still people going to vote. China is a one-party state, but you still have to go and vote. Okay, and so the thing is that a lot of these people who are talking trash on social media and seeming trying to, as it were, say they are Biafra agitators, they have very little education. They are not informed. They haven't done any intellectual work. You're not connecting the dots. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the benefit of the people. That's what democracy is. And then, so you got to buy into that start with, and then you now start walking through the mechanics of democracy. In United Kingdom, in the US, it's mainly a two-party states. Democrats and Republicans, or Tories and Labour in the UK, for instance. That's where that works. In China, it's a one-party state. So different flavors of it, but you still have to participate in democracy. And you have to vote. If you don't vote and you're trying to rubbish it and all that, then what you're doing is promoting anarchy. If you don't like the way the politics is run, my father taught me this when I was a teenager. He said, son, number one, don't break the law. My dad taught me that when I was a teenager. He said, don't break the law. He said, because they'll throw the book at you. The law is there for a reason, number one. Number two, he said, if you don't like the law, if you do not like the law, he told me, run for parliament. Become a member of parliament, a member of Congress, run for National Assembly, and then change the law from within. But don't break the law. Don't become a criminal. So it's common sense. If you want anarchy, then you get into all this kind of shenanigans, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And the test there is, if what you're asking others to do is to do unto others as you would like to be done unto you. If you stay in one corner of the world, we have our people in California, in Tampa, we have our people in Europe, Eastern Europe, Western Europe. From the comfort of these places, their jobs secure, their lives secure. If they have a problem, they call 911 and police come and help them out. And, they're safe. It doesn't affect their jobs. Nobody's stopping them from going to work. And then you stay in the comfort of those places, and then you're telling people at home who earn their money day by day by going out to sell that they should not go out. You're telling people whose daily livelihood, the ability to feed their children, is by going out to sell something or to buy and sell, to trade. You're telling them to stay at home. The bus drivers who earn their money by driving buses, you're telling them to stay at home. And on and on and on and on. Your own job is not affected in Europe where you are. Your livelihood is not affected. Your security is not affected. Imagine the mothers who are sick. Imagine the mothers who are pregnant with babies. Imagine somebody who has an emergency, whose son is experiencing an emergency, convulsion, or whatever, and they need to take their child to a hospital for treatment. You're telling them to stay at home. You're telling them to die at home. There will be a day of reckoning. There will be a day of reckoning for all the people who are promoting this forced sit at home, threatening the life of Biafrans, those who are giving him money, those who are giving them money, those who are supporting them, those who are promoting them on social media and all of that. There will be a day of reckoning. Go write it down. The day will come when all of them will be arrested and brought before a judge and jury in Biafra land. That's not the way it's done. If you want to commit suicide, hey, go jump into the river. You know what I mean? If you don't want to live anymore, And you live in California, you live in Tampa, you live wherever in the United States, in England, in America, in Finland, or wherever you live in Europe, and you're sick and tired of living, go jump into a lake by yourself. Hey, it's your life. But don't threaten other people. We're totally diametrically against that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mazin Bakwe. I have this before. I know you have more questions for Mr. President. I have this question for you, Mazin Bakwe. Mr. President, I know it's your day, but Mazin Bakwe, please. I just want to know. Our brother that they are saying that he is the representative of whatever spokesperson for Biafra that is issuing order from the kitchen of his wife. So I know you are a veteran. You lived it all. You've seen it all. In your analysis, do you think this guy has what it takes to represent 70 to 80 million Biafrans with the level of intelligence we all have, men and women, with how sophisticated and exposed all of us, how dynamic men and women of Biafra are? Do you think, your own understanding is that this self-acclaimed Biafra spokesperson has what it takes to represent sophisticated men and women, highly educated men and women of Biafra? I want you to come from you because I know you have.
Please don't, Mazin Bakwe, don't answer that question. We're going to have a session for veterans like Mazin Bakwe and Venerable and all of that, because a lot of people who are talking smack on social media, they have not experienced the war. They have not put life and limb in danger on the line. We're going to have a session where Mazin Bakwe, as a veteran, as an experienced man, as an elder who's done it or seen it all, will address our people. So that it's okay to go and talk smack, but they need to listen. We need to hear. Maybe tomorrow's session or so, we're going to have a special session where, Mazin Bakwe, as a veteran, will talk to our people. So I don't want to preempt. I don't want to take away his thunder. I want to promote that session so that our people will actually hear from a real veteran who has not a wannabe, or so some self-proclaimed whatever in some remote part of the world. Thank you. So let's take the other questions you may have, and then we're going to bring the session to an end.
Mazin Bakwe, if you have further questions for Mr. President, go ahead.
Okay, I hope, Madam Damaka, you are okay with that President's response.
Sure.
That would be a discussion for another day.
Yeah, sure.
But Mr. President, I know today's broadcast is not directed to Biafrans alone, or indeed.
Yeah.
It's a global thing. It's also directed to our brothers in the western side of Nigeria, Yorubas, and also our people from the coastal area, as well as the northern group.
Yeah.
That don't believe that the way Nigeria is heading is the right way. What message do you have for our Yoruba brothers in particular?
Thank you. It's a good question.
I have two questions. The second question is, I used to read a comic book when I was little. And this comic character, if I could remember very well, it's called Don Quixote. This is a guy who got so obsessed with the windmill, the giant blade that rotates and generates electricity.
Yeah.
He watched that windmill cut through innocent birds that flew across it, cut him into pieces. And he wasn't happy. He felt that was a little too inhuman, and decided to go against that windmill. He gathered his machete and club stick and went up there with the idea of challenging the windmill. And lo and behold, it was slashed into pieces. So this time around, with what is going on, with the level, with our position, with our resources, do you think it makes logical sense for a midget to challenge a giant? Because this is a case in point. I mean, Nigeria government has fought wars, at least in Africa. So they have seasoned soldiers, even though things may have happened and there may have been some defection, but they're still intact. Do you think you, as an activist that has nothing, can successfully go against a force like that?
I'll answer the second question first, then I'll go to the first question. The second question: Do I think whether I can immediately can go after the Nigerian government? It's a suicide mission. It's a complete suicide mission. Just like the example you gave, I like that story. The guy, that's what illiteracy does. That's what half education does. See, that's what ignorance does. The guy going after the windmill did not have an understanding of what was going on. So, based on his little insight, he thought he could go after the windmill. Okay, that's what ignorance does. You can't go after the windmill. So anyone trying to go after the Nigerian government, we're going to get Biafra by force, by fire. Colonel Ojukwu, who became general, commanded an army and did not win. Because the Biafran war was not just against Nigeria. Nigeria was helped and sponsored by Britain, by Russia, and so many other countries. So the war Igbos, Biafrans fought against Nigeria was not just against Nigeria. It was war against against Britain, which is the world's first superpower. America is the world's superpower right now. But people forget that Britain is a superpower. Britain was the world's first superpower. That little island called Britain colonized half the world, including the United States, including India, Pakistan, Canada, Australia, most of Africa. Britain is a superpower, still is a superpower. Yeah, today America is calling the shots, but Britain is still a superpower. So the war that Biafra fought against Nigeria was not just against Nigeria, it was against Britain. It was clear it should be called the war between Biafra and Britain. And it wasn't just against Britain alone. Russia, which is another superpower, was supporting Nigeria. Russia gave Nigeria planes, money, all kinds of stuff, ammunition. So this is little Biafra fighting against the rest of Nigeria, number one. Number two, fighting against Britain's superpower, fighting against Soviet Union, which is superpower, and we lasted 3 years. I mean, we won the war, as far as I'm concerned. We won the war. That we lasted 1 month in itself is victory. That we lasted 3 years tells you how brave Biafrans are. And Biafrans have every reason to be proud of their achievement. And that's why men like yourself, who were in the trenches, who fought this war on our behalf, will always stand and salute you and celebrate your achievement. It wasn't just a war against Nigeria, it was against 2 superpowers. So it's nonsensical when somebody wakes up from the wrong side of their bed one day and say, "Oh, you're going to fight against Nigeria." That's rubbish. That's what that's a suicide mission. And if you want to commit suicide, go do it by yourself. Leave Biafrans out of it. Go. There are many ways you can do it. You can go to a river and jump into a river. You can take a knife and slash your throat. You can buy a gun and kill yourself. Keep Biafrans out of it. Okay? It's quite simple. On the issue of our Yoruba brothers, for instance, I understand the sentiment why you may want to vote for Tinubu, for instance, or the Arewa brothers who may want to vote for Atiku, for instance. I understand the sentiment, but you have to, at some point, you have to go beyond sentiment. So you look at Tinubu, for instance. Tinubu is part of APC. The mess we're in right now, who caused it? Was Tinubu. Tinubu is the one that came in 2015, the election, and said, oh, when Britain was in trouble, they called their general. When America was in trouble, they called their general. Tinubu was one that came and sold Buhari to us. I never liked Buhari. I never voted for him. I never supported him. He's an evil man. He doesn't love Nigeria. He's not even in Nigeria. He's from Niger Republic. Okay? Was Tinubu who sold Buhari to Nigerians. Why? Because of a side deal. Support Buhari, and then after he's done 2 terms, he'll hand over to him, which is where Emilokon came out of. He could not help himself. He had to blot it out. That is the kind of leadership he's going to bring, turn by turn leadership. So for you, as a Yoruba man, you say, oh, I want to vote to you, and all of that. Is that the kind of leader you want? Turn by turn. So the question now is, after Tinubu, whose turn is it next? Is that the kind of country you want? You know, for those who are thinking of Atiku, you know, Atiku is wanted in the US. Tinubu and Atiku have not been to the US for God knows how long. They dare not step into the United States. Why? Why are they always going to Dubai? Atiku goes to Dubai, back and forth. And Tinubu goes to London and Paris. He never comes to the US. Why can't they come to the US? Because if they walk into the United States, they will be nabbed at the end. I mean, there's no credibility with these guys. So let's face it. I understand the sentiment because I'm an Igbo man. Not under normal circumstances, yes, I will vote for P2B and all of that based on sentiment. But this is not the time for sentiment. This is not the time for sentiment. APC has cost Nigerians hardship. APC has caused the death of so many Nigerians with this money shenanigan. And this money shenanigan is Buhari versus Tinubu. Eminoko politics. Buhari trying to frustrate Tinubu after they've done a deal which brought Buhari to power. That's the nonsense you're going to get. Is that the kind of country you want? Is that the kind of government you want? That's not going to get you anywhere. Okay? APC is the wrong party to govern Nigeria. They don't have the credibility. They've caused so much action. They've caused Nigeria so much. They're totally out of touch. Peter Obi is hands down the best candidate. Is it intellect? Is it health? Is it integrity? He's covered a number for 8 years. He left over he left $150 million in the account. Over 80 billion naira in the account. Did not take a piece of land, did not take water, did not take beer, did not take anything from them. There's no competition, there's no contest. It's very clear, and that is why P2B has support all over the nation. You know, the Northerners, Westerners, even Yoruba leaders have come out to say, no, P2B is the best candidate. So for our Yoruba brothers, I will say to you, let's put it aside. We're all Nigerian until we put this country up. Okay? Let's put sentiment aside. The best candidate right now is P2B, and you should vote for him. Because by voting for you, you're voting for yourself. You're voting for good governance. You're voting for integrity. You're voting for accountability. You're voting for transparency. You're voting for no conflict of interest. That's the kind of leadership you're going to get from P2B, and you're not going to get that from Tinubu or Atiku. The choice is very clear. P2B, hands down on merit, is the best candidate. And you go out there, not just you go and vote for him. Go to your friends, your family, your street, your village, your town. Tell everybody, carry them to the polling booth on that day, Saturday, February 25th. Carry everybody to the polling booth and stay there and vote. Don't go by yourself. Take others with you and go and vote. Nigerians, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, citizens are giving money to politicians. Have you heard that before? Citizens are taking their money. Children are taking their money. 10 naira, 20 naira, 100 naira will support P2B. Instead of politicians bribing citizens and giving them money and all of that. P2B is a candidate that Nigerians want. P2B is the best candidate. P2B is the only candidate with a track record, he's the only candidate with credibility, the only candidate with integrity. He's the only one who can deliver. So vote for Peter Obi. Tell everybody else vote for Peter Obi.
Mr. President, some people might argue that Peter Obi did this or that in the past, killed our people and dumped them in the river or whatever you have. But nobody is perfect. So wouldn't he be considered the better evil?
Anyhow, you cut to slice it. All those, I don't know anything about all of those. That's a conspiracy theory. I don't remember Peter Obi being arrested and taken to court and charged and having a sentence. It's conspiracy theory. So anyhow you cut or slice it, Peter Obi is the best candidate for the reasons I've given. And what you should do is tell your friends and family, everybody go and vote for Peter Obi unless you want a repeat of APC shenanigans. Look at what we experienced from APC in the last 2 months. Look at the suffering. If you want a repeat of that suffering, go and vote for Tinubu. This time that you can't even allow you to get 20,000 naira or 2,000 naira. Next time with Tinubu in power, you will not get anything. They will steal the bank. They will steal everything. 1 naira you will not get. So this is the time, if you want to put a stop to the insecurity, put a stop to a government that does not obey court order, right? Which court order has Buhari obeyed? Is it the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Or is it the Supreme Court justice? APC is a party of death. It's a party that does not obey court order. Okay? The same thing with PDP. They are the same people. They just change their father. The same people. Peter Obi is the clear differentiator in this election. And if you want to repeat a continuation of your suffering in Nigeria, go and vote for Tinubu. But if you want a new government, a new leadership that's going to bring integrity and bring transparency, accountability, and bring good governance, give you power, give you light, and give you a better government, then the only candidate to vote for Peter Obi and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. You have really done justice to this, and you made your stand and the stand of your government clear in this press release. And we encourage. I join you in telling our people, please share these brokers, get your friends, brothers, sisters, relatives, tell them to go and vote. Nothing mega. The day Biafra belongs to all of us. And this is no longer Igbo matter. This is a national matter now. That the best candidates have been selected among the 3 chiefs. The better chief have been given to us, and we are ready to go with the better chief. Nobody is perfect, but we're not here to judge them. We are here to see who can salvage, who can do a better job. Tinubu has a very devastating health condition. His wife is younger. Whether she's pushing him to do I don't know why that woman cannot hold her husband and let them go and enjoy the money they looted from Lagos. She has been a senator. I don't know why she's pushing that man to go and die ahead of his time. We are tired of voting presidents that will die in the position 1 year. When they're elected. This guy Atiku himself has a very devastating health issue as well. He has some cardiac issues. Atiku is more or less a Cameroonian. Let's speak it for the first time, honestly. Let us give Peter Obi the support. That if he doesn't deliver, we go and visit him. But for now, between these 3 men, or among these 3 men, Peter Obi is more credible. I call on everybody. I join Mr. President. Get up on Saturday, go and vote. Let's vote for him. I forgot that they deny him that position. God knows that Peter Obi is the best. He's getting it. And it will be so appalling that the Yorubas will vote for Peter Obi, the Arabs will vote for Peter Obi, the Middle Belt will vote for Peter Obi, and then Shenanigans in Igbo land will be the one that will make their brother not to. The hatred you people will face, oh, one lot of children will inherit it. I tell you the truth. And I want to correct this impression that is going on social media. When people generalize, oh, people in the United States telling them to stay at home. We are now have dissociated ourselves from the people in the United States and all over the world that are saying do not go and vote. Our goal is Biafra, but we are supporting that our people on the ground should go and vote for our brother. If Peter Obi gets there and he gives us good road, that is advancing our cause to Biafra. At all, nine was passed. On that note, Mr. President, we thank you. And Mazin Bakwe, I'm sorry we have 6 minutes above our time. We will come back tomorrow to keep propagating this message. We must vote our own. He is the most credible person to be voted in. Peter Obi and his partner, Dati, they are the most credible among these other people. Let's vote for him. On that note, we say join us tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, which should be 6 p.m. Biafran time, as we keep propagating this message of hope. On that note, we say, Mr. President, thank you. Mazin Bakwe, thank you. And Biafrans, pick your PVC. Go and vote Peter Obi. He is the most credible. Do not pay attention to the shenanigans of those people who are speaking with two sides of their mouth. They don't have the education, they don't have the blueprint on how to get Biafra for us. And look at the people, and we will get Biafra, they have stopped counting. I thought they are counting, they have stopped counting. We want to know how they're going to pay. One thing we tell them is that we don't want Biafra land to be a bloodbath. We don't want that battle to be thrown in Biafra land the second time. They should take it to where they know where to take it. They're not in Biafra land. On that note, we say, my lead, Biafra follow. It's no longer Biafran affair. It's now a national affair. Peter is a national affair. Rise up and go and vote for him. Thank you and God bless you.